Good morning, one and all. So today we are going to start with the module 5 of C programming for problem solving. So basically a module 5 deals with three topics, that is structures, pointers and preprocessor directive. So today, before moving into these three concepts, we need to learn one important concept called as Typedef. Okay, so what is a Typedef is? So before I just have a glance on Typedef, let us recall what exactly a data type means. A data type tells what type of a data does the variable holds. And we know we had seen few built-in data types or basic data types called as integer, float, long, double, char. These were all the set of built-in data types. So in case if the user don't want to use these data types and want his own or data types to be created. That means, is there any provision to create a user-defined data type? Yes. C language provides us to create our own data type, that is a user-defined data type, using a keyword called as typedef. So what is the fundamental concepts of typedef is typedef is used to create a user-defined data type. How we are going to see now. So the typedef is a keyword used in C programming to provide some meaningful names to already existing data type. So that means instead of naming variables like I and j, we can give an meaningful name to them. Instead of just telling float or double, we can give our own name to the already existing data type using the concept of typedef. So in simple, it is a way to create user-defined data type. So how do we do that? So let us see the syntax. We need to use a keyword called as typedef and tell an existing data type. That means what exactly is the typedef tells give a meaningful name to existing data. That means if you want to give int a new name, instead of using int you can give a new name to int, instead of using float you can give a new name to float using the typedef keyword. So typedef keyword, then the existing data type, and then followed by a new name, that is nothing but alias name. So if you see this example, it's clear for you. So typedef followed by your existing data type, that is float, and a new name to that float, that is unit. And then you can declare I comma j with a new data type called as unit. And here unit extract the all the features of float data type. That means whatever variables or values can a float store, all those values can be stored by unit because it has extracted the meaning from float. That means unit behaves similar to float. Okay, so that is what is the use of typedef keyword. So typedef is a keyword which is used to create a user defined data type. How do we create a user defined data type? Give an alias name to already existing data type so that your new data type behaves similar to already existing data types, like unit behaves similar to float. Okay, so that unit can be used in place of float. Okay, so that it uh, uh, it makes the readability of the program much more better. Instead of writing float, int, all those things, if user feels that I have to give my own name to a user defined as already existing data type, this is possible using typedef keyword. So let us see an example. So if you observe this particular program, so here what we are trying to do is we are creating a data type called as units. That's a user defined data type. Okay, so here in this case what happens is our data type is going to be units. Okay, and units is its feature is been extracted by the features of built-in data type called as float. That means unit is a data type created by the user and it behaves exactly like float because we are defining a units a meaning of float. Okay, so that is what the use of typedef is. Now I'm declaring two variables I comma j of type units, but there is no units data type already exists. It is being created by the user with the help of units is being created by the user with the help of already existing data type called as float. And now you ask the user to enter the units. So once you enter the units, carefully observe the units are stored in I and J, and I and J are of what type? Even though they are units, but units follows the features of float. So the format specifier should be percentage %f if in case if you want to store the values in the variables I comma j. It's, even though it's units behaves like float. So that is the reason the format specifiers are percentage %f are being mentioned. And then finally you can print the values of these I comma j. So that prints the values of I comma j in the format of float. Okay, so this is what the use of typedef keyword is. So basically typedef, what it does, it converts a data type into another type by giving an alias name. So here in this case, it converted unit into a float type by giving a new name to float. How is the new name can be given? The syntax says that typedef existing data type and alias name. So this is what is the meaning of typedef is. I hope so you have understood what is the use of typedef. Typedef, again I recall it, typedef is used to create a user defined data type. How do we create a user defined data type? With the help of some built-in data types, we give a new name to those built-in data types that makes us to create a user defined data type. Okay, I hope so you have understood this concept. So now let us just see this in the compiler. So look at this program. In this program, you can see that we have created a variable called as, sorry, data type called as units, and that units data type follows all the features of float. How does it follows? Because we have used a keyword called as typedef. Typedef means define a new data type called as units which has all the features of float. And then initially I have declared two variables I comma j. Carefully observe, it's not a float type, it's of units type, and unit behaves similar to float here, and I've initialized them to value c. Then I ask the user to enter the value of I and j. Since we are told to enter the values of I and j are ready to accept a value of type units. And what is units? Unit is of type float. That means units behave similar to float. So that is the reason we have taken two format specifier, percentage %f and percentage %f, because percentage %f is a format specifier for float. And since I and j are of type units, it behaves similar to float. We have used percentage %f and percentage %f. And then we store those values in I and j in which format? In the float format. And finally, we print those values of I and j. So this is how a new data type called as units is created using the existing data type floats. Okay, with the keyword data, sorry, type def. Okay, let me run this program. So build the project. So you can see that there is no error sign, warning. Okay, so let me run this program. So run the program. Okay, so now I run the program. Sorry, So let me run this program. So when I run the program, you can see that it asks me to enter the value of ing. So I am going to enter them 12 and 30. And as I said, these ing are of what type? Units. This unit is of what type? Unit behaves exactly as float. This 12 and 13 will be stored in ing in the form of floating point value. So let me press enter. So now you can see that the value of ing is 12.000, 13.000. The reason why it is taking a decimal number is because units is of type float. Okay, so that completes the topic type. Thank you.